Hello, this is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose of Dylan. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, even if you're listening on Spreaker, which I am recording on right now. By the way, if anyone's looking to start a podcast, Spreaker is a phenomenal way to start. Alright, so, here's the thing, I know I'm mentioning, I keep saying, football's out, baseball and basketball are in, but that, I found out today that is probably not even close to true, because, before you know it, it's going to be free agency in football, and then I'm going to want to talk about that, and then before you know it, they're going to, I don't know, the football goes all year round, every sport goes all year round. But I apologize for not doing more baseball. I'm sorry, because I mentioned... Because the guy I kind of base my podcast off is, obviously Colin Cowherd. And while some people may think he's a terrible sports analyst, I'm just telling you, I don't always agree with him either. But I like his show, and that's the show I'm trying to base it off of that, you know. And he kind of got me hooked on, he kind of got me hooked on just talking about basketball and football. So I promise any other news I hear about the MLB, I will talk about. And I'll get my analysis. So, here we go. Football again. The TB12 sports page posted back to work on social media for Tom Brady. And, that's... and I think, they put a hashtag #EyesOn8. I mentioned, obviously it was a incredibly early prediction of, what's gonna happen. The chances of me being wrong are insurmountable, and I know I predicted it as a 17-game season, and that's if they do a 17-game season. I don't know. I don't think they are going to go through with it, so if you want my updated predictions, guess I'll go into you right now. So, Giants, Eagles, football team, all 9-7. Cowboys go 9-7 I'm at 8-8. Bills go 13-3. Dolphins 11-5. I don't need to go through it. You kind of got the gist of what I was trying to say, you know. But here's what I wanted to talk about. So there's a lot of great athletes. You know, actually later I'm going to rank my top 10 best quarterbacks based on talent and athleticism. Not wins. Super Bowl wins don't count. Wins don't count, honestly, because Stafford has played with one top 10 defense his entire career. Brady's played with 19 top 10 defenses. Winning is not always a quarterback stat. It is most of the time, but it's not always. But, so there's a lot of great there's great athletes, and then there's great leaders. An example of a great athlete would be Giannis. Great athlete. He's a good leader, but he's not the best leader, you know? And then there's the leaders. A leader is kind of like CP3. He's not a freak athletically, but he's a phenomenal leader. So there are certain athletes that got both. They're very athletic and they're great at leadership. And, I mean, you can make an argument that Rodgers is just an athlete. He's not really a leader. I can agree with you on that, I guess. But Brady and LeBron are rare examples of people that are both freakishly athletic. Well, LeBron is freakishly athletic and is a great leader. Brady is a good athlete, better athlete than people think, I believe. He has a great arm. He did play baseball as well, and he's 6'4", 225. So He's a better athlete than people think, but he can play the quarterback position very well, and he's a great leader. That's what I mean by this. He never loses it. Like Aaron Rodgers, I can admit he loses it sometimes. He has a losing record when he throws one pick in a game. His confidence kind of gets put a little nail in his confidence, kind of. And I can't really blame him for it. I mean, it is, if you go on because I guess you could say I play basketball. I mean, I do practice it a lot, but when you go on a streak of missing 4 or 5 shots in a row, you kind of start to lose confidence in yourself, especially when you're in a game. I mean, when you're practicing, it's different. When you're practicing, you're just frustrated when you're practicing. There's no confidence shattered, but you do get frustrated when you're practicing. In the game, you get a mix of frustration and confidence shattering. So I can't blame him for that. But Brady never loses it. He threw 3 picks against the Packers. And I still stand by the fact that I believe... Well, alright, let me just get to my main point. I'm sorry. Brady never loses it. He threw 3 picks against Green Bay, and he won that game. He can also... Sorry, I'm tired. He can also play when he's not the most important player on the team. There's some people that have to be the most important. There's the narcissists out there. I gotta be the guy. Kyrie Irving. What? Sorry. Alright, so... even in the Super Bowl this year, he was not the most important player. I know he won MVP, but that defensive front was the most important factor in the game. If you really want to give someone the MVP, it's Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher's, what did he injure? I think he injured an ankle. Eric Fisher's ankle was the MVP of that game. Because, he... Hold on, I'm just checking, I'm sorry, I can't... I gotta know. His Achilles, alright. Eric Fisher's Achilles were the MVP of that game. But the defensive front was the most important factor for the Bucs that game, not Tom Brady. But he can deal with that. Now, and there's... and Brady... Like I said, there's a lot of great leaders out there. But Brady is so far ahead of them all. Derek Jeter, great leader. Now I actually have another point here. I think I said this last podcast, that you gotta focus on my main point, don't just look at some of the things I said, because I'm just trying to back up my point here. So, my main point there was just that Brady is a rare mix of leadership and great at the game. So, here's another point. So, Derek Jeter was a phenomenal leader and player at the same time. But he couldn't lift a 250 hitter and make him a 300 hitter in the postseason. LeBron is a great leader, but he was never able to make Kyrie a great defender. Brady, and this is about making them better in the postseason when it matters most. Forget what happened because in the postseason I think it's a kind of a place where you can just tell your teammates, all right, we made, the Bucs were a 5 seed, you could just tell them, all right, we weren't the best team during the regular season, but we can be the best team now in the postseason. Now, this team was not elite in the regular season until the bye. That O-line was not this good in, week 6. But in the Super Bowl, look at it. Brady was hardly pressured. Tristan Wirfs was the highest graded player in that by Pro Football Focus. He can transform them. He can transform teams so well in the postseason, Tom Brady. From a Week 8 bye, it took a bye week for them to pop and just go off. They were 8-0 in the last 8 games. So I know you guys are all probably sick of me talking about this Wilson thing, but I'm sorry, the guy finally said something interesting. He finally didn't say something right. It's amazing. So I gotta talk about this. I'm sorry, and it's gonna be short. Don't worry. So this is like kind of a Brady effect. I feel like this is kind of a Brady effect on Wilson, because Wilson saw the Bucs get all those players. Gronk, AB, Fournette. By the way, those were 3 free agent signings, and they all scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So, he noticed the power they gave Brady. And Wilson is like, I'm not Brady, but I do deserve some of that respect. So he's saying, I want some of that power. Don't give me the power you gave Brady, but give me some of that. Don't want everything, but give me some of that power. And it was kind of a chain reaction. Because isn't it ironic that right after he lost to Tom Brady and saw Brady go to another Super Bowl, Rodgers said, future uncertain here. Now, as I do believe that whole I think that was an overreaction. I don't think that press conference meant anything. I think he was just depressed after that loss. But, it's definitely something to think about, because has Rodgers said anything, it's been kind of confirmed that he does kind of be dramatic at times, but, it's after the most depressing loss of the man's life. What do you think he's going to say about his future there? So, I do think that it is, a little bit of an overreaction. It happened right after he lost to Brady. Right after Brady won a Super Bowl, Wilson said something. So, it's kind of a Brady effect, in my opinion. All right. So, you guys all know at this point that my favorite team is the Packers. I try my best not to be biased. It's a little tough sometimes. When I heard Colin Cowherd criticize Rodgers, I went on here and I criticized Cowherd back. I try not to be biased. I am sometimes. I can definitely admit that, though. I can definitely be biased at times. But here's somewhere where it's tough for me to... I don't think I can compliment the Packers and not be considered biased. But I'm not trying to be biased. Like, right here, I'm not trying to be biased. I genuinely believe this. I said, I believe I said on Friday, let me check the last time I posted a podcast was. Friday. So, I said on Friday, the 2 best landing spots are Steelers and Packers. The Packers, he's from Wisconsin. He's always said he wants to play here. They need an edge rusher. It fills a void. It's perfect. But he can go, wait a minute, he can go play with his family, the Watt brothers, in Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh. You can make the Steelers' defense even better. But what I think here, as great as I think he would make the Steelers' defense look, I think it would make them just more lopsided rather than balanced, because their offense is regressing, because Ben is regressing, and when your quarterback regresses, you regress. No matter how good your receivers are, you got Claypool, and you have the TikTok brothers, TikTok boys, and as much as I really don't like them, they are pretty good. You got pretty good receivers. But when your quarterback regresses, your offense regresses. So, and let's face